Hello everyone, my name is Hue and today we're gonna read this book, The Tale of Mr. Germany Fisher. Germany Fisher? Was this frog or a fish that he is looking for? I don't know. Let's go and read this. The Tale of Mr. Germany Fisher. Once upon a time, there was a frog called Mr. Germany Fisher. He lived in a little damp house amongst the buttercups at the edge of a pond. The water was slippy sloppy in the larder and in the back passage, but Mr. Germany liked getting his feet wet. Nobody ever scolded him, and he never caught it cold. Yeah, that's why a frog stays in the water for a long time, or it can swim in it in a long time and it never catches it cold. He was quite pleased when he looked out and saw large drops of rain splashing in the pond. I will get some worms and go fishing and catch a dish of minnows for my dinner, said Mr. Germany Fisher. If I catch more than 5 fish, I will invite my friends, Mr. Alderman Ptolemy Turtles and Sir Isaac Newton. The alderman, however, eats salad. Mr. Germany put on a mackintosh and a pair of shiny goloshes. He took his rod and basket and set off with enormous hops to the place where he kept his boat. The boat was brown and green and very like to other lily leaves. It was tied to a water plant in the middle of the pond. So his boat was a lily leaves. Oh well. Mr. Germany took a reed pole and pushed the boat out into the open water. I know a good place for minnows, said Mr. Germany Fisher. Mr. Germany stuck his pole into the mud and fastened the boat into it. Then he settled himself cross-legged and arranged his fishing tackle. He had the dearest little red float. His rod was a tough stalk of grass. His line was a fine long white horsehair, and he tied a little wiggling worm at the end. The rain trickled down his back, and for nearly an hour he stared at the float. This is getting tiresome. I think I should like some lunch, said Mr. Germany Fisher. He punted back amongst the water plants and took some lunch out of his basket. I will eat a butterfly sandwich and wait till the shower's over, said Mr. Germany Fisher. When I heard he gonna be eating a butterfly sandwich, I wonder why, but now I remember frogs can eat butterflies. A great big water beetle came up underneath the lily leaf and tweaked a toe of one of his galoshes. Mr. Germany crossed his leg up shorter, out of reach, and went on eating his sandwich. Once or twice something moved about with a rustle and a splash amongst the rushes at the side of the pond. "I trust that is not a rat," said Mr. Germany Fisher. "I think I'd better get away from here." And Mr. Germany shoved the boat out again a little way and dropped in the bait. There was a bite almost directly. The float gave a tremendous bobbit. "A minnow! A minnow! I have him by the nose!" cried Mr. Germany Fisher, jerking up his rod. But what a horrible surprise! Instead of a smooth, fat minnow, Mr. Germany landed little Jack Sharp, the stickleback, covered with spines. Oh no! The stickleback floundered about the boat, prickling and snapping until he was quite out of breath. Then he jumped back into the water, and the shoal of other fishes put their heads out and laughed at Mr. Germany Fisher. And while Mr. Germany sat disconsolately at the edge of his boat, sucking his sore fingers and peering down into the water, a much worse thing happened. A really frightful thing it would have happened if Mr. Germany had not been wearing a mackintosh. A great big enormous trout came up and kerflop! With a splash, it sized Mr. Germany with a snap. "Ow! Ow! Ow!" And it turned and dived down into the bottom of a pond. But the trout was so displeased with his taste of the mackintosh, what in a less than half a minute it spat him out again, and the only thing it swallowed was Mr. Germany galoshes. Mr. Germany bounced up to the surface of the water like a cork and the bubbles out of a soda water bottle, and he swam with all his might to the edge of the pond. He scrambled out of the first bank he came to, and he hopped home across the meadow with his mackintosh all in tatters. "What a mercy that not a pike," said Mr. Germany Fisher. "I have lost my rod and basket. But it does not much matter, for I am sure I would never have dared go to fishing again." He put some sticking plaster on his fingers, and his friends both came to dinner. He could not offer them fish, but he had something else in his larder. Sir Isaac Newton wore his black and gold waistcoat, and Mr. Alderman Ptolemy Tortoise brought a salad with him in a string bag. And instead of a nice dish of minnows, they had roasted grasshopper, with a ladybug sauce, which Frog considered a beautiful treat, but I think it must have been nasty. The end. Yeah, it's quite nasty for a turtle and some kind of weird animal. I cannot tell what is this. But I'm sure it's gonna be living in the water though. But anyway, it's still fun. I hope you enjoy this book. Please like and subscribe. Bye bye.